Okay, everyone. Hello there, and welcome along to episode 3 of the Prismatic Cup Chatting Shit. No Matthew again. I'm Philip James Robert, aka Philly Jim Bob, and I'm joined by 3 of my top 10. James, aka Holmesy, Jay, the Spice Lord that is Ginger Ninja, and Lewis, who is Shaker Colt. How are we doing, gents?
Good, mate. You?
Thanks, you.
Very good, thanks.
Yep, it's Easter, so I'm absolutely buzzing. Can't wait to go out and do nothing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Well rested, I think, is definitely the phrase. Prismatic Cup. What are we thinking? What do we think? What are our first impressions?
Like
I
it.
prefer it to last month's cup.
Yeah, definitely. Initial thoughts are definitely.
I don't know,
good.
James. You did pretty all right yourself.
Wow, it was a good few tournaments, but no outstanding one. You know what I mean? I didn't get a good 10 times, but on the whole, it went all right.
Yeah. Especially after someone showed you need a Pro Bowl pass counter past the
Well,
primary.
you know, you always need that one person who absolutely demolishes you to tell you your team's too weak.
All right, don't make his head too big. Like he threw over me about 7 times last month.
Right, let's move. I'm just a noob. So yeah, I'm going to try and fill those big size 13 shoes of Matthews. We're going to go in PV Poke order, so that starts with PV Poke rank 18, otherwise known as Pokédex number 275. Lewis, your pick.
My pick is the Grass Dark type Shiftry. Now,
Big fan.
the way I look at this cup is 6 slots. 4, I think, it's quite wide open which way you want to go. 2 slots, I don't think there's any choice other than to go for 2 particular things. One of those for me is Shiftry. Hypno is
I agree. I'm picking the other slots that you're referring to there.
Yes.
Okay, so Shiftry is brown and pink.
Yes, slot 5.
It's the second ranked in brown pink. Why not Hitmontop or anything else?
Hitmontop, I don't see the use for. I don't see the use for it. The fighters, I don't think I'll have one in my 6. And its coverage move Stone Edge, it still doesn't get to it before Talonflame gets to break it. So you can't even beat it in zeros. And then obviously it doesn't beat it in the 1s or 2s either. So I don't see the point in going Hitmontop.
Hitmontop beats Shiftry, as I found out this evening. Isn't that right, Jay?
Beats a lot of things. I mean, why are you bringing a fighter to beat a flyer? Like so.
You're not bringing it to beat a flyer, but because Hypno's around everywhere, because Talonflame's going to be around everywhere, you're bringing something that's going to be hard countered by at least 2 things, and then you've got to build the rest of your team to compensate for that.
That's why we'll go back to your pick, which is Shiftry.
Yes.
Not Hitmontop. Which is hard.
Yeah, I like Shiftry. I mean, I absolutely adore Shiftry. I've loved it ever since it picked up Snarl. I think it's fantastic. Fast charging, Leaf Blade, obviously Foul Play. I think Foul Play has a lot of play, pardon the pun, this month with Hypno knocking about, the odd Drift Blim, neutral to some of those flyers that are going to counter it. Hurricane maybe some play, but I like it, Lewis. What else are you thinking?
I just think having some sort of dark type option and damage is going to be very important for, like you said, the likes of Hypno and Driftling. There are very few things in this cup that deal dark type damage, and Shiftry obviously very versatile, can do other things as well as just do the dark damage.
Yeah.
And it takes.
It's on my current 6.
You know, like Shiftry, if you put Shiftry against anything in slot 1, does anything beat it? Maybe Lucario?
Jumpluff?
Fangro.
Yeah,
What would
Lucario.
Fangro matchup be like?
That would be very close.
Which matchup?
Tangrowth.
Tangrowth, Shiftry.
Yeah, Shiftry should take that, right?
I would have thought so, because I would have thought Talonflame's going to do more than Rock Slide.
Yeah.
So like you Shiftry pick immediately, so you're thinking takes Hypno, which is the most common slot 3 at the moment. It beats nearly all of slot 1. So there's 2 great ticks straight away.
Yeah.
It's losing to the entirety of slot 2, pretty much. But you're gonna lose to something.
Yeah, except for those madmen who are bringing Mad Cargo.
No, it still loses to Mad Cargo.
Even Rock Throw.
Ooh, not sure about Rock Throw.
Yeah, so any other thoughts on Shiftry before we go into the second pick?
I like Spammy Mons. I really like Shiftry. It's a good pick for this.
Are you seeing it more as a closer or?
The thing I've looked at with Shiftry is it doesn't really matter whether it's in 0s, 1s or 2s. It's got about the same win rate versus everything. It's just above 50% in everything, but it's the ones it does pick up that I'm more leaning towards. It's picking up the things that I'm struggling to counter in other slots, which is why I feel it's to me it's a must-have.
It's the most common in my team of 3. When I'm picking a line of 3, it's the easiest one to pick. There's always something for it to hit. So yeah, I'm sold on Shiftry.
You find that you're having to pick bulk in at least maybe 2, 3 of your 5 slots.
Yeah, my slot number 1 is currently Big Bulk. I've gone for Quag in slot 1. I may be tempted to go Probo in slot 6, but that's another trail of thought. Shall we go on to your pick then, James?
Yeah, go on then. So my pick is Kanto Raichu. And
Pokédex number 26.
Pokédex number 26. Apologies. I have written that down as well, and I just didn't want to.
I was giving you the opportunity. I thought, no, Dan's not going to give it.
Yeah. So Raichu was like quite a. In my very first draft of 6, I picked a Alolan Raichu. I just thought slot 1's going to be quite water based, and Talonflame's going to be everywhere. So my mind immediately went to electric. But in team building and then sort of a few usage data bits came out, I'm really liking Kanto Raichu, because I've got written down next to me what the usage data that came out. So the top pick in each of the 6 sections were Lantern, Talonflame, Hypno, Flygon, Shiftry, and Ferry. They 6, right? Now, 2 of them are easy Raichu wins. 3 of them are, depending if you've got high defense, high stat product Raichu, you win the ones. And then obviously Flygon is Flygon, that's a war. So, discounting Flygon, you're beating 5 of the 6. Now, I'm presuming we all have high stat product Raichus. There's been like a spotlight hour for Pikachu the last 18 months in a row. There's an event every other day with Pikachu on with a different hat, so that's a different story in itself. I'm personally going for
which hat are you going for, James?
Ash hat every day of the week. When that comes out on the battlefield, your opponent immediately settles down, less pressure on it. It's taking them off the ball a little bit. Ash hat Pikachu is the way to go. But I didn't like. I think PV Poke does Raichu a bit of a disservice because the default IVs have it losing to Ferrothorn, have it losing to Shiftry, have it losing to Hypno. But if typing your own IVs, and I know it's using like generic IVs for the other Pokemon you're facing as well, but actually you can flip so many of those with a high stat product Raichu. It must be like quite borderline on all of those.
Right, so I think the most important point now then with Raichu is moveset.
Well, I think this is maybe why Alolan might get the push, although Alolan loses Kanto actually has a higher win rate. Alolan Weak to the Dark, that we've said might be quite common with Hypno being about. But obviously if you choose Alolan, that's a different slot. So it depends what works best for your team. But Kanto, I think you have to go all electric. Brick Break doesn't. You can beat Ferrothorn without Brick Break.
Right.
Ivy dependent. But you can beat Ferrothorn without Brick Break. You can beat Shiftry without Brick Break. But both are Ivy dependent. In fact, Brick Break doesn't make it a guaranteed win. It doesn't like flip the matchup to whatever your IVs are. So I think it's because you got to land the Wild Charge, and I know they're resisted. Resist on the Ferrothorn? Yes? No? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Resist on that, but it's just so much damage that you land the Wild Charge on the Ferrothorn and actually you can flip that matchup. And you can I think if a Ferrothorn's running Mirror Shot, you do lose. So that is sort of depending on the Ferrothorn's moveset. But
Does it need a Mirror Shot bait in that case? So.
yes, it does. Yeah, so like bait and IV dependent against the Ferrothorn, I think is a great win for potential win for Raichu.
I mean, Brewer loves the Mirror Shot Ferrothorn, doesn't he? So
yeah.
he in testing he has been running. I'm going to give some secrets because the reason why he's not hosted this month is because he's got all these secrets. He's got like a rose glint in his eyes. He's like, oh, I can do well here. I don't want to give away my secrets, so that's why he's not here tonight. He's actually been running Thunder. I liked Flash Cannon, but after a bit of practice, I think Thunder's the right set on Ferrothorn. So just to clarify, James, are we talking Volt Switch or Thunder Shot?
Volt Switch. So Volt Switch, Thunder Punch, Wild Charge is the way I've been going. I think if you go in a Alolan, which I know is an entirely different story, I think Grass Knot is the way to go with Wild Charge, just because of how wall jar by the ground. That's the only downside that I think of Raichu is it's got a modest win percentage. I think it's low 70s, but actually when you look into what those wins are, they're all really good wins. So
good picks, yeah.
Yeah, it can beat 5 out of the top 6, the top slot in 5 out of the 6 colours. So they're really good wins, but when it loses hard. So like it can't touch a Flygon, it can't really touch Quag, Whimsicott. You know, there are some real bad losses out there. So it's all about your team building, all about pairing it up right. But I think it's got some real.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're the expert because you've won two practice tourneys in a row now. So clearly there's something in it, because when I first saw the slots, I thought, right, 4 of these 6 slots are RPS, and then the 2 middle ones, which are yellow-white, and obviously that's Raichu's slot. And I think slot number 4, which is the green-black slot, has loads of save swap options as well. So I thought those 2 middle slots, you got options for save swaps. But you're talking about it being an RPS mon, beating the ones that it's supposed to beat well and the good picks.
Yeah.
But there's opportunity with the full electric moveset to get walled. So that's fascinating.
It like you get it lined up wrong. Like in one of my practice losses last night, it got lined up against Quag, and you know that is almost even with the new switch timer, that is almost game over. I think the Wild Charge did. I think it healed it. So you know we're in trouble sometimes. But I guess then your team building comes in, and there's not that many things that really wall it. I've written down Quag, Flygon, Whimsicott, and Cradily. They're the 4 that I've seen in practice that I've been like, I must keep my Raichu away from those. There's probably others. And they're the ones that came to mind straight away.
So what's a good partner for Raichu then? What beats those 4?
Well, Ferro's good. So Ferro can beat the ground types, and Ferro with Mirror Shot can beat the Whimsicott quite convincingly. I know we were having a chat the other day that if you run Thunder Ferro, you can lose the 2 shield to Whimsicott. So
just fantastic. A steel type losing to a Charmer, it's just amazing.
So you know, there's me putting the Mirror Shot push in. But I think Ferro. I think your Ferro moveset's the thing you're going to decide last. You're going to run Ferro. You've got to look at the rest of your team. Do I need the extra Whimsicott cover? Do I need the extra flying cover? I think that's when you're going to pick your second Ferro move personally, rather than starting with that and working backwards.
Good. Do you know what? I was laughing at Kanto Raichu.
Just when it comes out with a hat. Like, everyone just lets it go. Oh, this ain't a problem.
Oh, it's Phil gone.
We've lost the host.
Hi, Phil.
See you later, lads. So we carry on without him? Or...
Okay, so after that little interlude, pick number 3 is my own. Obviously, we're going to have some spice in a second with Jay. But I'm known as the chicken korma when it comes to my spice index. I've gone for PV Poke rank 50, otherwise known as Pokédex, not even looking at my notes, 663, Talonflame. So Lewis was on about before how the brown slot is pretty much, it has to be Shiftry, and the red slot pretty much has to be Talonflame. Blaziken, yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of fighters in this cup for some reason. I can't see past Talonflame in the red slot. Any questions?
I completely agree. But I think the cup's going to be split in two. I think you're going to have people who use Talonflame in the red slot and people who go anti-Talonflame Crustle in the red slot.
That was my first draft. My first draft was Crustle.
Yeah. I think Talonflame is the go-to for red, but I can completely see why, if everyone's thinking Talonflame is the go-to in the red, why some would go Crustle. But
yeah, whilst we're talking Crustle, let's get Crustle out of the way. Yes, anti-Talonflame. It has an X scissor for Hypno. Top slot for slot 3. But it wasn't doing everything. I was asking too much of it or too little of it. But that's for another time. Talonflame, I think, in the red RPS slot, where you need it to beat the things it needs to beat, is fantastic. 66% win rate from a standing start in 0s and 2s, but it's all about the 69 in the 1s, baby.
Oh yeah.
Giggity goo. Yes, exactly. In the current state of the game, as the Silph would call it, with the switch timer being as short as it is, Brave Bird and Dip is fantastic. There is a bit of bait game going on with Flame Charge if you do want to stake in. Yeah, I just don't know what decent rocks are going to be there, except for, like you said, Crustle. I don't foresee people bringing Mantine much. But these are things that you can take Brave Birds to. Even Flygon doesn't want to take a Brave Bird. I think maybe your best bet is, like you said, Kanto Raichu.
Who doesn't want to take a Brave Bird?
It doesn't, well, does it not? It would much rather take a Flame Charge, would it?
I think that'd kill 2 Raichus, wouldn't it?
Even if it's resisted. So yeah, I've gone dull and I've gone with Talonflame. I think the Incinerate, it can take a bit of getting used to not to overtap, but if you can use it wisely and show a bit of discipline, you can definitely pay off in your favour rather than getting frustrated and throwing your phone on the other side of the room. Got them overtap! Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Very familiar.
Obviously, I know Incinerate is pretty decent move, but it just takes so long. I don't have the patience for it, and I don't know, facing it, I've never had, like, hardly ever had an issue against it. Like, it's like when I see it, I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I find it easier to face than to use, so I'll just leave it like that for me personally. I'll keep knocking them down out of the sky. You just keep throwing them out.
I've had a fair bit of practice with Talonflame since the community day, with my rank 1 best buddy in Ultra League. It's amazing in Ultra League.
Yeah.
It has a little less bulking great, obviously, but I still think it has play. It takes a bit of patience and practice, like you say, to get used to. If you're the kind of player who tries to sack swap every game at least 2 or 3 times, Jay, then maybe it's not the month for you. But
telling everybody these secrets, God, they'll never throw the friggin' charge moves when they get their energy now.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You've got 2 maths teachers in this call. Sorry, 1 maths teacher and 1 stats teacher, and we're not the ones known for counting. It's you, the drummer, who's known for your counting. So yeah, Mr. Sackswap. Yeah, Talonflame. If you persevere and you're patient with it, you can definitely line it up where you're getting a couple of flame charges and the skirt of a brave bird, so they're shielding another flame charge. So there's a little bit of psychology behind the bait game there. It's worth a look. It really is, because I can't see past it. Does the same job as Blaziken, and better, in my opinion.
Better in that it doesn't lose the hit though.
It apparently beats Hypno in the 1s. So I'd imagine it beats it in the 2s as well. So yeah, again, that's all about fast move timing, charge move timing, and you've got to be careful.
A 5-turn versus a 4-turn.
Hey, you say it, but as soon as you get up to your 4th Incinerate, they're getting a 5th, and if you're not careful, a 6th Confusion in. So it does happen, and that one Confusion can flip it. So on the flip side, if they're throwing instead of trying to squeeze another Confusion in, it happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say as well, just because of the 5-turn fast move, if you're against obviously people with the shorter turn moves, which you're gonna be, they're more likely to be throwing early. So you're gonna be gaining extra, like a couple of turns each time, and that'll add up. Because they're having to sacrifice turns because they don't want to give away a free Incinerate. Because that's just devastating. So there's that.
So this is why you're okay facing it, because you know to time just at the end of the animation rather than at the start, and they've squeezed in an extra 3 turns on you.
Yeah, it can be big enough mid-game sneaking in a mud shot, let alone sneaking in an Incinerate. Like that can literally flip a matchup.
Can flip about 5 matchups.
You come out with energy, Can change.
Flip the matchup for the next game as well.
Yeah.
So Talonflame and the appearance of Dragonite. I think you were running Dragonite with your Kanto Raichu last night, weren't you, James?
Yeah, Dragonite was in my brown slot, which is why I couldn't go for the Alolan anymore. I really like Dragonite. I think where Raichu fails in the 2s, Dragonite does the opposite. It's really good, really strong there.
So with Talonflame knocking about, and with Dragonite again, because there's no Dragonair, Kingdra's a possibility. You're going to see a lot of the RPS of Grass, Water, Fire. So I think Dragonite might be a popular pick. So maybe I'm arguing that Crustle and Probopass might be a decent look here. I think with Talonflame it takes a little bit of experience with the timing of the charge moves and a bit of patience and a bit of discipline, but I can't see past it. Me being Mr. Mess, not Mr. Spice, it's my pick.
What are you pairing it with?
Good question. So at the moment, Quag for those rock throwers, those smackdowners. For the waters, I've got Shiftry, can't see past Shiftry. I haven't quite got an Electric Mon, but I have got Thunder Punch on Hypno. So there's options. I haven't quite consolidated my slot number 6 yet. My purple slot. That's definitely up for grabs. So shall we move on to another red pick, Jay?
The one and only red pick that you're gonna need and care about. The amount of people that don't even know what this thing was when I use it in the what cup was it? Oh my god,
Labyrinth.
There you go. Getting Vortex just anyway. Yeah, Labyrinth was fine. Vortex horrible. But this cup, Crawdaunt, it's PV Poke 86 ranked, I think, and it's Pokedex number 342. I got you. So yeah, it's slot 2. It's a red pick. It's dark and water. It's squishy as fuck and hits like a truck. Basically. Snarl, obviously. So that's always a good thing to have on him on. It's got Night Slash, which, you know, if you enjoy the RNG of Vortex, then keep the Night Slash theme going of Primate, put it on Crawdaunt.
I never got a boost with Primate.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Never.
I didn't use it, so anyway.
It was in every line of 3 and I never got the boost.
Nice.
Anyway, not I'm salty.
Well done. Like, well done, and you still did well.
Just use Crawdaunt this month and you're due.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I like Crawdaunt. It's the water Shiftry.
There you go. Yeah, it's the water Shiftry. It is, in fact, and it beats Shiftry on CMP, I think, but it doesn't beat Shiftry. But anyway, I digress. It learns Crab Hammer as well, which hits like a truck. Like, that's ridiculous, and you can get a boost off that as well. You just need to beware of a lot of things, and that's the difficult thing about using it. But like, if you line it up right, it's ridiculous. Like, it's so spammy and hits so hard. You just need to avoid fighting Fairy, Electric, Bug, Grass. That's it. Other than that, you sound. But it resists a lot as well, so it'll take out stuff like Talonflame, Crustle, Riftblim, Hypno, Quag, Gallade, Glistor, a load of muck, and there's some others there. But like, there's quite a few bulky mons there as well, and like, this thing does not have any bulk whatsoever. It cannot take a hit. So you need shields, or you need shields down. Like, it's not really that good with one shield. Well, to be fair, I think across the board it has like a 60% win rate, but you don't want to be using it as a switch. Like, it's not really a safe, unless someone switched into you with a Hypno, then okay, then you know you're safe to bring it in. But
you say that, but if a Hypno has one confusion, it wins the ones.
That's why I'm saying it's not the ones. That's why it's 2s or 0s.
Yeah.
So
if you go in 2s, you could lose the 1-2. You're happy to lose that because then your opponent's shield's down. So that's not the end of the world as a loss.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lead or a closer for me. Probably, but I think Dan mentioned saying about Quag being like a bit of a false lead where you gain a bit of energy and then you can dip. Like, Crawdaunt is very much like that. You can do that if you've got energy in the end game and you've got a shield. Like, I think it was one shield to their none is 90% win rate. If you've got a 2-1 shield advantage, it's like 82%. So like, if you're able to get energy as well, like, unless you face other than fairies, you're screwed. Like, the fighters and stuff, if you've got that energy and you hit them with a Crab Hammer, the likes of Blaziken, it's good night. So it's like, it's a fun mon to use and it's difficult to use at the same time. But
there'll be teams of 6 where it kills 5 of them.
Yeah, it's mad. It's just devastating. And like, it loses to like Flygon, Mantin, like, they're pretty popular in it. Probo, if it has Spark, I think if it's got Rockrow, which it could, can tell them in Liverpool.
That's the Probo police. That's the RPS Probo police.
Yeah. So if it's Rockrow, then obviously that's nice for your Crawdaunt. But if it's Spark, you need to land the Crab Hammer, and even then, because Probo is a bit of a tank, it's not probably going to be enough. But yeah.
So what? Whimsicott, its biggest threat, isn't it?
Yeah, Whimsicott is just.
V-Charms?
Yeah, at least it's not getting much energy.
Yeah, it won't get, that's the good thing. It won't get any energy off it. But yeah, like, fighters and fairies, it's just really just disgustingly bad. The other stuff, you've got a bit of, the electric. Okay, if something's got Volt Switch, that's not fun. But like your Night Slash is still going to hit hard. Bug, obviously you're weak against Bug, but your Crustle, for example, if someone's bringing a Crustle,
the only Bug I can see is Crustle.
Like, because of the rock, the Grab Hammer will probably will one-shot it. And what your Grass, okay, again, that's not, unless someone's bringing Razor Leaf, then obviously that's just painful as well. But who brings Razor Leaf and Charmers, because they're just tap twats. But
Matthew's just lost like 70 subscribers right there for what you just said.
Get some skill and use Crawdaunt and have some fun, goddammit. But now, obviously, I know I pick some random strange Pokemon sometimes, but in Labyrinth, like, it served me so well. Like, other than me being an idiot in one game where I just didn't concentrate enough. And actually, no, I wasn't ballsy enough to bring it. I would psych myself from bringing it, and I should have brought another one. But other than that, it just served me so well, because people, when they don't know what it is at first, and then when they do realize what it is and what it can do, because a lot of people underestimate it and laugh at it, and then they'll take a hit from it, and then they shit themselves. So that's how I roll.
What do you pair it with then? What are you protecting it with?
Well, at the minute, I've been using it a lot with Jumpluff.
For your fighters and Whimsicott.
Yeah, and I like Alola Muck, and I like Electivire a lot as well.
It's a very similar mon. It's a very similar mon. It's
Black and
shields down.
Hard, yeah. So I probably shouldn't really be running them in a similar line, but when the 30-second timer, they're quite fun to run in the same line of three. When the timer goes back to normal, they're definitely a bit more bulk, and Electivire is definitely more of a closer. But they're similar roles, both hit hard. But
Crawdaunt pretty much one-hit KOs Electivire with that Crab Hammer.
Crab Hammer, yeah. Yeah, but it's because it attacks like 150 odd. It attacks, that's crazy. So, I mean, Electivire's defense is crap, but it just, nothing really wants to take, even like a Shiftry, it still takes decent damage from a Crab Hammer, and the resisted Night Slashes, they'll chip away. You're winning the CMPs and that, and if you're timing your moves right, it's.
I shielded 2 Night Slashes from you before. I know it was poor play.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's because you don't really want to take the Crab Hammer off it, because it's still going to blow the air. So it's a threat, and it's one of them as well. If you're like James was saying earlier, if it turns into where I'm losing switch but I've taken a shield advantage, that's not the worst thing in the world if you've got shield advantage. Especially if I've got Electivire in the back.
You crawled on to take both shields and your Vire to close. I like it.
Yeah, there you go. Now you know what my strat is.
Everyone who plays Ginger Ninja this month, right, is going to leave.
They just bring a Razor Leaf there, Charmer,
and Flygon.
Yeah. I'm screwed. But yeah.
No, that was lovely, that, gents. Anyone got any closing thoughts on any of the picks or Prism in general?
I'm hoping it's going to be quite open. I looked at our practice meta teams the other day. I think there was 16 teams in there and 11 had Hypno. And I'm just hoping it doesn't become that where you're just playing the same 6 every game. I'm really hoping that people are. I know you've got your way. Talonflame will push in the red, and I don't think you can really help that. Well, apart from unless you jab. But there are so many good picks.
Crawdaunt beats them both.
There's so many good picks and so many of the slots. I really hope we don't have we probably will. But I hope we don't have a really condensed meta where you're playing. I'm fed up with Hypno. It killed me in Vortex, so I'm just fed up with it. So
yeah, I feel like if Hypno is really prevalent, then you're just going to see a lot of people bringing Alola Muck as well as the safe swap. So it's you're just half the meta. It's just going to be the same across the board. But yeah, hopefully people will get a bit spicy and bring something different. There's a lot of options out there as well. I think a lot of people just get comfortable with using the same ones because they know how to use it, which is fine. And they're probably the people sweeping tournaments. But I like to explore as well as get my ass kicked and having a bit of fun. I don't know. I think there's so many different options out there. It's like people shouldn't just get themselves tunnel visioned on. Oh, Hypno is a great tape switch, I'm going to use it. Oh, Alolamok's a great tape switch, I'm going to use it. Actually explore and see what else is there. Have a bit of a mess around with something. Shiftry is a high risk, high reward Pokemon, which has been around for ages. You're saying it only has a 50% win rate across the board, but some of the wins it picks up. And as soon as it gets an energy advantage, it's a game changer. Kanto Raichu, I don't know what kind of magic you're working there to get that to work. But again, I pick friggin' Crawdaunt, and I wouldn't be looking at Kanto Raichu. So
I've had a couple of draft teams with Kanto Raichu, but I was running Brick Break rather than Thunder Punch.
Yeah.
Well, I think without deep diving, it looks the obvious pick because Ferrothorn, Shiftry, and them, you do want a counter for that. I was shocked that it doesn't really do much for you. But obviously if UV poke is very situational, isn't it? So actually in practice...
That's it. You need to look at what movesets are actually on that and what people would actually run.
Yeah, run Brick Break in practice and see what happens. It might be a case where you use it and you think, actually, you know what, I have picked up this matchup because even though PvP poke expects them to shield that, no one shielding their Ferrothorn and a Raichu to start with, so that Brick Break lands, I don't know. So it's well worth playing around. That's what practice is for, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose one of the reasons why a lot of people bring Hypno is because of how many different moves you can have. You don't the moveset you could go through a 5-round tournament, face 5 Hypnos, and 3 or 4 of them will have different movesets. So
yeah, I'll be honest. I was running Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball. Didn't use Shadow Ball once, and then I was getting locked in against Shiftry. It's like, I need my Ice Punch.
But even if it's got Ice Punch or Fire Punch, Shiftry still wins every
shot. I know.
With or without baiting, so...
Just makes it difficult with the next mon to try and firm it down.
The only thing you want Shadow Ball for, really, is the mirror.
The mirror.
Yeah, but that could be really common. I don't think I'm going to run Hypno. But if you are a Hypno user, I think you're going to be in a lot of mirrors this month.
Yeah, I'm liking Shiftry, liking Alolan. I might go double dark. I might go triple dark because I might now do Crawdaunt as well. So I don't think I need to worry about the mirror match.
Whimsicott.
Now, Lewis, you don't want me to swear again.
Do you know what, chaps? I've really enjoyed that tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk about this cup with you guys. I've learned a bit tonight. I'm really pleased that Matthew asked me to do this. So thank you very much for joining me, and thanks very much to Matt for having me on. Obviously, subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. I feel like I'm Ginger Ninja saying that.
I say that.
And obviously, if you haven't already, his Patreon works. He works with a charity, so if you want the bloopers, I doubt there'll be many for him today, which is quite surprising. But it'll be worth subscribing to his Patreon. Kanto Raichu. Kanto Raichu.
To be fair, I need to subscribe to the Patreon. It's just terrible that I haven't, so I'm going to go and do that now.
But yeah, thanks everyone. Good luck in your Prismatic Cup, and see ya.
See you later.
Yeah, cheers for the host, Phil.